MacOS. Okay, macOS use the BSD Linux system, and but you can change if you want. But this one is the most popular one. So Microsoft go back to the command line. That doesn't mean it's two different operating system. MS-DOS is totally different from the Windows, but this one is actually integrate. It's kind of integrate, but it's the Windows API. It's actually converted to the Windows API. It's not perfect, but still inside this shell, bash shell, it can be combined, change it to the Windows API, which means you can use any application running on Linux. So Linux, I like the wget, for example. If you do not know this one, don't worry. It's one of the Linux command very popular to get the file from the URL. If you provide the URL, you can download, okay, using the one command. So you can use here. So you can use a Linux command, Linux application on Windows because of this one. It's not perfect yet, but still the very significant change on the Microsoft. So one of the reasons why the macOS is popular because it's very close to the Linux system. So many people are using the macOS because of the such a characteristic. And Microsoft, they lose the power user of the operating system, but because of this one. So maybe, but not the very popular yet. It will be. But you need to install something specific module to this. I spent a couple of days to install this. But this is very interesting, the change on the Microsoft world. Microsoft operating system. So this is a command line interface. So in this class, you are going to learn one of the shared programming language in the exercise lab. So this is a good time to be familiar with the new interface. If you do not have experience, if you already have it, please use continue to your work. Okay? So this is the screenshot from the bash shell. I think it's a Mac Pro. It's a Mac Pro. Right? And the Mac Pro. So nothing different. Actually, it's the same thing. So macOS use the BSD Berkeley, the system, operating Unix system. So we will see history of them later. So it's actually the same thing. Okay. And what about the graphical user interface? The graphical user interface. The macOS is starting from the hardware. Okay, still use the similar interface. Okay, I'm not a big fan of the Mac, the book. I'm thinking to change because I'm very disappointed the Windows 10. I expected something, but it's not like the PC. It's not like the tablet. So it's very weird the stance. Okay, so but there are a lot of the graphical user interface. The K desktop environment is from the GNU. GNU is the public, the open source, the groups. The genome is one of them, and so on. So this is the history of the graphical user interface. Can you see this one? This is a mouse pointer. So you can see that this is the early graphical user interface, 1970 something. Okay, so very similar as what we are using currently. Okay, so that is the mouse and the monitor. So using the mouse pointer, we can do something. What do you think? Such a mouse style, the input or interface is human-friendly or not? Yes? It is? What about 1,000 years ago? 500 years ago? 2,000 years ago? What will be the input of the something to communicate each other? we don't use something such a fingering or such a thing. We use voice or read or write, okay, something like that. So actually, in my opinion, it's not general opinion, so such a mouse handling is not very user-friendly, in my opinion. So there might be different the interface. So, and also the cell phone, I'm really sick and tired to touch something. I don't like that, and sometimes I can feel the pain, tip of the finger. Okay, this is really not human-friendly interface. So if you can find some very human-friendly the interface, you will be super rich. Oh, really? So HCI, human-computer interaction, is one of the rising, the very demanding area in computer science. So that requires some artistic and computer understanding and architecture and the hardware also and design. So human the computer interaction, HCI, is one of the important and very demanding the area in computer science. So think about such a thing. So this is early, and we still use a similar style interface to manage the file. It's a source and destination. I have used when I used the computer first time, and it's the old style, the file management tool. Okay. And this is a 1980 early. Okay. Probably you don't use this one, but OS2 is the IBM, the personal computer operating system. It was true, and still everybody agree. Actually, the OS2 is much better than Windows. But during the 1980, 1990, so they compete each other, Microsoft and IBM. Then, even though in terms of architecture, this one is much better than this one, the winner is Windows. Then IBM, before 2000, IBM gave up to support the OS2. Even though in terms of architecture it's much better, in terms of everything it's much better, but due to the fail of marketing. So the marketing, they failed, but still some of the IBM server mainframe used the OS2 for their interface of the server side. Then this is during the 1990, the graphical user interface is almost the same as the current one. Even though it's changed a lot, but still we are using the starter top left corner. So Windows 8, they try to change this one, then go back to again people's. It doesn't mean this is perfect, but people's already get used to it. So they don't want to change their style, including me. So it's Windows 10, go back to this one. But the Aqua still use the same style of interface. What is the name of this? This one? I'm thinking to change. Okay, this is the current one. Then nowadays is a touch screen. The interface is important, but I believe this one is not the end of the interface. There might be better. For example, the gesture detection. Still, gesture detection is not perfect. Nobody uses, even though most of the cell phone has the interface to control the ear, but it's not. So it's not kidding. So think about your future. If you have such a knowledge, the artistic and the human, like a lot of things. So you need to consider for the HCI, the human-computer interaction. Okay, voice recognition is one of them. Okay, interesting is I'm offering the multimedia database course where people are using the video and image for data processing. Then 5-6 years ago, one of the classroom project was the images and taken by the cell phone front camera, then decide whether this is left or right. But at that time, I didn't know that it's already patterned by the Apple. It's already patterned. Then important part of the next level, part of the operating system is the system call. System call is system-wide, the API, okay, to use the directly system hardware instead of directly code app. You can do that if you want, okay. At that time, you need to check all the IEEE, the standard, and the ANSI standard, check everything, even to implement the serial port 9-pin, which data will go to the pin 1, pin 2. You need to know everything, okay? And you need to implement what is that device program, and it's not simple, almost impossible. Instead, we try to use the API provided by operating system. In other words, operating system provides such a API, the program for system program. That is called the system code. Mostly it's coded by C or C++. It is true, operating system is coded by C or C++, 70 to 80%. I think the two-thirds, so 70%. The other is assembly coded directly. Sometimes some part of the resource management you cannot use the high-level language. You need to directly code by the assembly code. So that is the thing. And then they provide the C or C++ library as a system code. Mostly, it is around the 200 functions. It's not that huge. Not all of them are used. Only few of them are used a lot. Like the read file, open the file, okay, and the memory access. So such the function can be used. So that is a system library. So there are different types of group of the API, depending on the operating system. Windows provide. Oops. That is another problem. It was okay last year. I can use without the power cable for 2-3 classes, but this time it's barely. It's already passed. Somebody control my laptop. So let me finalize this. So Windows provide Windows 32 API. Okay, so using this API, you can create the process. You can access the file. You can do whatever you want regarding to your system. Okay, so that is a Windows 32 API. And the Unix-based system, they have the POSIX API. Okay, it's also C or C++ library. Most of the Unix and Linux system use the POSIX library, including MacOS also. Okay, so this is the library. Then this textbook likes the Java a lot, really. So this also of the textbook considers Java as the operating system, which means Java API is the system library. I don't agree actually. So we just keep in mind the system 32 is the Windows, POSIX is the. But as she mentioned, the MacOS use the Object-C, but it's just a different name. So that is the system. We will see more details in the next class. And then don't forget to bring your laptop after download your virtual machine. Do not try to download in this classroom. Please download at home and bring your laptop to the next class.